Welcome to Tactical Tip Tuesday, where I share a tip, tool, or dose of inspiration for your week. I want to remind you of a slight change in format for the show. Each week, we will bring you a new episode, but instead of releasing 2 episodes a week, we will release just one. We will alternate between a longer interview show with a first responder, family member, wellness expert, or a program that supports first responders, and Tactical Tip Tuesday, which is a shorter microcast that explores a wellness-related topic. If you like the show, I encourage you to subscribe and download and share with someone who you think would benefit from it. I would also appreciate it if you would visit our site on Podbean and leave a review. A few weeks ago, I went on a trip with an organization called Swell, which stands for Surf, Waves, Enjoy Life. This newly formed nonprofit organization was started by Rob Sanderson, a retired Lenexa, Kansas police sergeant. Rob started surfing during his college years with his friends. I interviewed him recently on the podcast, and he discusses how his surf trips throughout his law enforcement career helped him decompress and navigate the stress that comes along with this work. After unexpectedly retiring, Rob launched Swell to share his love of surfing and the ocean with other first responders that were struggling or just simply needed a break. Building confidence in learning a new skill, like surfing, has been proven to alleviate symptoms of PTS and depression and lends itself to promote healing. Rob approached me about being a part of the board. He thought it could be a good idea to incorporate yoga and meditation into the retreats. Swell raises funds to support surf missions for law enforcement and firefighters. These trips are founded on the premise that self-efficacy and peer support can make an impact on the lives of our first responders. Another important aspect of the trip is the food. As cops and first responders, many of us eat on the go. Not only is the quality of our food questionable, but the circumstances in which we are consuming it. Think about how often you sit down to a healthy meal with friends or family that you took part in creating. I know for me, this is something I don't do nearly enough. This idea of other peers who have attended previous surf missions cooking healthful and abundant meals while everyone congregates in the kitchen, eventually all sitting down to share a meal together, was one of my favorite parts of the trip. Not to mention the incredible Spam sushi, which, by the way, was delicious. Although an opportunity to teach yoga and meditation at the beach was a no-brainer, Rob asked me, "You're going to surf, right?" Hesitation set in. I have been afraid of the ocean since 6th grade. I love going to the beach, dipping my toes in the water, the salty air, and all the ocean vibes. But I really am deathly afraid of what lies beneath. And I'll admit it, the waves are very intimidating. I quickly talked myself into trying something new and moved on and really didn't think much about it. When we arrived, I was immediately at ease. Going to the ocean and being at the beach always does that for me. But this time, I wasn't only going to the beach to get tan and relax. I was there to learn how to surf, which required me to actually get into the water, like really in with a wetsuit and all, and it was actually pretty cold. Rob instructed us on how to paddle and the stages of gradually standing when we would, quote, catch a wave. Some of this came easy for me, which I attribute to my yoga practice, the paddling, the balancing while watching for a wave, the breathing, check, check, check. But overcoming a fear of sharks, yes, Jaws has scarred me for life, and seeing waves coming right at me really took some getting used to. Especially on the second day, we hit a different beach and the waves were quite a bit bigger. With the help of Rob and his friends, the other surf coaches, I slowly started to ease into the waves, breathing, relaxing, and just allowing and learning to ride the waves. Sometimes I caught the wave, sometimes the wave caught me, and I got sucked below. But what I realized was this. At first glance, the ocean appears to be in constant motion, and the surface can be choppy and windy. But once you dive into the ocean, you are no longer observing or watching it. You are the ocean, and what I found was stillness, ease, and a sense of dynamic peacefulness, similar to how I feel when I practice yoga. What happens on the surface is the most superficial level of the ocean. Most of what occurs lies beneath, which is stillness. With all that is going on, both within my own law enforcement community and nationwide, many in law enforcement feel chaotic, hopeless, and helpless. There is so much outside of our control. We are just like the ocean. What happens externally, whether it be choppy or windy, is only a fraction of the picture. We can be still like the depths of the ocean. We just need to allow it. We never know what life will bring, and the only constant in life is change. I don't say this lightly. I remind myself of this daily, sometimes several times throughout the day. As first responders, we seek control. Right now, more than ever, we feel less in control. The impact of the past year is compounding. COVID, protests, riots, hiring and retaining employees, overtime, calls for defunding the police, these are all impacting our mental health. There's so much suffering behind the badge, and it seems to have reached its peak. Just like the waves in the ocean come and go, no challenge is permanent. I have a new relationship with the ocean. The waves inspire me now because each time they rise, then they fall. They continue to keep rising, and the depths of the ocean remain still, calm and peaceful regardless of what occurs of the surface. Whether it's an unexpected injury, a financial loss, a change in life circumstance, stressors of this work, retirement, or a desire for something new, we must find a way to navigate the chaos, change, and external circumstances that are around us. As first responders, we have an obligation to our agency, to our peers, our community, but we also have that same obligation to ourselves and our family. We must take personal responsibility for our mental and physical health, but our agencies bear that responsibility as well. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. One of my all-time favorite quotes. Take care of yourself and your peers. There are so many resources and programs available to help depending on your needs, and Swell is just one of those resources. I'll leave you with one more of my favorite quotes from Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. People look for retreats for themselves in the country, by the coast, or in the hills, but there is nowhere a person can find a more peaceful and trouble-free retreat than in his own mind. So constantly give yourself this retreat and renew your own mind.